New information now on WikiLeaks releasing new documents that claim to reveal the CIA's most sensitive spying secrets, at least the electronic ones. Thousands of pages supposedly detailing how the CIA can turn ordinary cell phones and smart TVs into surveillance devices. Morgan Wright is a cybersecurity analyst and a senior fellow for the Center for Digital Government. Morgan, it's good to have you back on.
Hi, John.
When you got wind of these revelations from WikiLeaks, what was your first reaction?
A word that would be bleeped out if I said it right now, and it was like, here we go again. I mean, it's just, what do we have to do to protect these secrets? Some people may disagree. They say you shouldn't be tapping these phones, you shouldn't be doing this. But at the end of the day, these are our secrets that we use to protect us from attacks, to collect intelligence on foreign adversaries. How many people would like to know exactly what Kim Jong-un is going to do with his nuclear missiles? What if we disclosed the only trade craft we had that allowed us to see what was going on? What good would be served by that? So look, there are a lot of implications for this, and none of them are good.
Well, Julian Assange, the guy who founded WikiLeaks, thinks there shouldn't be any secrets, that everything ought to be open to everybody. Your thoughts?
Well, Julian, give me your password and let's see what's on the WikiLeaks server. I mean, he even wants to keep certain things secret, so that's a little disingenuous to say that he wants everything to be transparent when he's hiding out in the Ecuadorian embassy. But that being said, we're talking about things that, John, this is more than just collecting information. The CIA works differently than the NSA. They operate agents in countries. Their case officers recruit people to do close-in operations, which means I give you something. They're taking USBs or other things and implanting them into networks. When this gets disclosed, it means we put at risk the very people we're asking to spy on their country or their organizations to get us this information. It puts them at risk the same way when Robert Hansen was arrested, he disclosed the identities of our agents. When Aldrich Ames was arrested, this is no different than that. The only difference is this has a little bit of electronic to it, but at the end of the day, John, it's the same thing. I think it's treasonous and traitorous activity, and I hope the investigation finds out who did this.
For instance, there are some apps, WhatsApp, for instance, is a messaging application that a lot of people use that has some encryption ability. Apparently these files suggest that you can, or the CIA was able to get around that encryption and tap into some of these WhatsApp conversations that people who were using the app thought were safe.
Well, technically, John, the conversations were safe. In other words, they never broke the encryption, and actually one of the most popular ones that they're going after is Telegram, because that's used by a lot of the jihadist networks. What they did was compromise the device that the app was running on so they could see what was being typed in and the messaging going across. It's still very difficult to break the encryption itself, so what they did is they targeted the particular type of device, whether it was an Android or an iPhone. And, I mean, it's brilliant work. I mean, they figured out a way around it, but at the end of the day, now that people know it, they'll take countermeasures, and it'll be much more difficult for us to monitor.
And Apple says, for one, that it's going to try to, patch some of the holes that this dump has revealed in its software.
John, there will always be this contention between the government and our national security and the private sector, for example, Silicon Valley. They may not want the government in it, but at the end of the day, if the bad guys are driving a certain brand of car, then I want to know how to defeat that car and get into it, or a lock, or a safe. A phone, a computer is no different than what we've been doing for years in terms of breaking into safes and trying to find and copy other people's secrets. But the fact that this is so pervasive is that it's run on software. A lot of people don't understand it, so they fear what they don't understand. But this is no different than what we've been doing for years. It's just a different tool. It's not a new tactic. But, John, the more that we disclose this, the more it levels the playing field. We're the good guys. We always fight with one hand behind our back, so we're always at a disadvantage. If we level the playing field, we give our adversaries an advantage we don't want them to have in this cyber battlefield.
Agreed. Morgan Wright, a cybersecurity analyst. Morgan, thanks for your expertise.